This is aspect of back nyumbani ukiambiwa na dadi kitu, uncles and aunties, you don't talk back, you listen. Yours is to listen. Yes, it's also good for learning, but at the same time, you also want to, you also have to ask yourself, while I do this, so what about me? Yeah. Right? What about me? Yes, I'll be doing this, but I know this is a big responsibility, but what about me? Right? Where am I in these mathematics? Right? Do I disappear for others to appear? You know what I mean? But that does not negate the fact that we also have responsibilities for others. Like Ubuntu, like Nyerere said, Ubuntu, I am because we are, right? I become through the shoulders of others. But hii shoulder, kuna mahali inaweza fika mpaka hizi shoulder blades inaanza kuvunjika juu ya watu. Yani in short, what I'm saying is, at the moment what we have is a culture where watu wanapitia shoulder zetu, but when they go up, they are not ready for me to also go on their shoulders. We build each other, right? But there are people just want to step on my shoulders. Mwingine anakuja anapitia, watu wananini tu, lakini wewe unaachwa tu kwa ground. Yeah. Right? You are grounded, right? In Western ways, right? So I think one thing I'll tell you, Hillary, is, and I'll pay more attention to that on mental health. Open up with your friends and family. And now, ukiona ni kama wasikizi, let me tell you things about texts and words. Yeah. Texts, nikikwambia kitu, hata ukikataa saa hii, nimeshakiingiza kiko kwa psyche yako tayari. Na kitakuwa huyo mtu ataenda akaya afikirie kile nilisema. But also because tumekuwa tukireziwa on a culture of, silence. We don't voice out. If you don't voice out, it interferes with who you are. You end up having mental health issues. That's why hapa wanga wanasema jiongee. Jiongee. Sema kile kiko kwa roho. Toa. Manake pale ulipatiwa hata responsibility ya kuwa mwanaume, it was not just that responsibility, but you are told to act it. And part of acting is to not cry. Be a big man. Be a big man. But you see, the thing is, it presses on us psychically, mentally, right? So it's good. Like Frank, be open. Just have a discussion with them, talk to them, and open it up, right? Have a conversation. And to tell you the truth, what really attracted me to you guys is just that open-ended conversation. No fear, no nothing. Say it as it is. It's not black and white, different colors. Just say it as it is. And don't fear, right? Because, every time when we speak out, we've been trained to kind of hold back, right? Yeah. But Hillary, just say it. Like the way you say it. And right now I can tell still, you're still held somewhere, but open it up. Say, yeah. That's the only time now you'll be feeling at home, even when you're in diaspora. So uko hapa nyumbani, uko hapa Canada, you'll not, distance will be closed when you open up. Yeah, when you open up and say something, that distance itakuwa closed. Yeah, and you'll develop based on what you want to be, without this aspect of you just want to take distance physically rather than psychic, right? So a psychic distance will help you to collapse that, right? So that you still lazima feel at home. You can be here and still feel at home. But what we have here is that aspect of that distance, physical distance. that, and the way to collapse that physical distance is to have that engagement. Sometimes, by the way, for your information,
yeah,
we are so colonized to the point where we see our people as if they don't understand what we are saying. But actually they do hear and understand. Right? And it comes from a colonial place, because we believe that, you know, they have to think and imagine us in this way. But actually they imagine us in a different way, which now also opens up bigger conversations. So hata ukisema, don't be left with this aspect of ASCII. No, they are listening.
yeah.
They get what you're going through. I had a conversation with Mom actually, and I even brought her here, right? And because I wanted her to see, I collapsed the distance, but it was costly.
Yeah.
Because I wanted her to see what I'm going through. But do you need to go through that? No. You can have this, you know, walikuwa naita tete atete.
Yeah.
And still, you know, pass your message and just make them understand, because most probably we might be pushing this as if they don't understand, but actually they understand if we sit down and have tete with them. Yeah.
Still on your topic, Chenya Hillary raised.
Yeah.
Asante sana kwa your insights. Nimeona pia Melka amejoin hapa, ni
wetu. Yes. Just introduce yourself. I just want to know you. And
so my name is Melk.
Yes.
I'm in my fifth year triathlon finishing this year.
Are you serious? Where? Which department triathlon?
Production and design.
Oh my goodness! You know, I used to teach at triathlon until this whatever. Was such a wonderful place, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a wonderful place.
Of course, tuko na siasa zetu triathlon. Tulileta chini triathlon mwenyewe. Sasa tumeweka X University.
X University, so nangoja tu kuwa alumni. Very soon.
How was your experience? How is your experience so far with triathlon?
I'll say like my experience was, it kept shifting when I went different years. My first year was kind of terrible because I think I was among the two black students only in my program.
I do understand.
Yeah, so it was really challenging, and the idea that you come this side, people have already started doing like this production in high school. So when they come here, like for us, we're doing drama and everything, but when we start here, we come from a different level. Like it's totally different, but the professors are like, oh, these guys have already done it, because it's kind of basic to them. But to me, it's like a foreign concept, because we are not really taught what they're being taught, like when we come here. But once I moved like my second year, like my experiences started, like I started like knowing people, interacting with my professors and everything. My experiences started to change, and I've had a really good time.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah,
that's
so
good.
it was really good for my second year.
I can only imagine, like ukiwa first year na ndio umefika. Unaona watu wale, I don't know, there's this comedian alikuwa anaonyesha at class. Oh, you know him, Frank Q, whatever. One was his mother, his father, his whatever.
Flacco.
Yeah. So there's this clip he brought at class. Mwalimu anakuja anaanza kusema, and I don't know this, and na one student mwingine anaanza kusema, shit, where am I? Have you seen that clip? Yeah.
And the worst bit is I had applied to the wrong program. I didn't even know that that's the program I had applied. I thought I'd applied to another program.
I wish I knew, because I've been at triathlon. Actually, saw me at triathlon first year, second year. I was a little bit, actually, I was way ahead of some of my students, because some of my colleagues then, when I spent undergraduate. Manake nimefanya courses, couple of courses at Catholic University. So sociology was just a walkover. All these things were just a walkover. So it was a little bit much easier. I can just whatever. I wish I knew you then. Maybe I would have mentored you, and you know, and ili kumaliza hiyo whatever. And I think that's the reason why we need mentoring, like serious.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I know it will let you. Yeah.
It's funny because they don't offer that much. Like you have that international board, like the national board you in school, but they don't offer that much. They just do the I feel like just because people come from different like different countries and experience like different things in different countries. But once you come, like the international office is like, okay, this is how much you offer. You're like all at the same level, not like really. They don't really offer like mentorship and everything. You can only ask questions on shit. So it's kind
but you know those mentorship is
yeah, so
it's framed on a very wide place, but it can face like you're not just and when you go to them, they'll take you as back student, man, but you're not just back student. You're an African and a Kenyan student. You get the point. So it's so wide, but at the same time, actually, I'm happy at least you are able to, show them who you are. That's the pride I have with my Kenyan people. Because we show ourselves, we show up and show them who we are made of, right?
That's true.
Yeah,
That's true.
yeah. Thank you for sharing that experience.
Yeah,
na mimi nilikuwa nafundisha raya so na nilipata nini mahali pengine inaitwa Algoma University. So yeah, so I had a colleague called actually Samantha Webby. And I think Samantha Webby is uko kwa film and whatever, right?
Film and theater.
Yes, if I'm not wrong, Samantha Webby is also appointed to film and whatever. I'll check out. A very good professor.
Oh wow.
Yeah, very good from Lebanon.
Oh wow.
Yeah. Has been my best friend. So yeah, so I wish I knew that. But anyway, at least we know each other now. Yeah, we know each other.
Yeah. Karibu sana Melk. So tulikuwa tunaongea bado tunaendelea demystify black tax. Yeah. So I relate na experience ya Melk because nilikuwa the only African in my neuroscience class. So unaweza imagine ukienda kuchukua lab, then you need a partner. Wewe pekee ndiye black hapo hivi.
Yeah, no one wants to work with you.
Yeah, so ilikuwa inabidi na work na Japanese students and like mostly Korean and Japanese students, but ilikuwa a good experience.
Yes.
Because nilikuwa na decolonize mind yangu.
Yes.
Yeah, as Babu mentioned before about kuongea about this issue of black tax. Yeah, for me nimejaribu sana kuongea with my parents. But most of the time kwanza huwa najaribu kuongea naongea nao from their point of view, alafu naambia like cause mimi niliishi na lots of relatives, so nawauliza if they think the approach ya kunipeleka kwa our relatives, na sahi every time relatives wananipigia they need something from me. So my dad ananiambia then you don't need to send them anything, waambie wapitie through us, unaona. So nikamwambia to be honest this haikuwa the right approach, to be honest. Because sasa ona penye nanieka, look at the place penye nanieka. So nikajaribu kuongea nao like what I think, but nikapata wana receive with wanakasirika, unaona. So hata wanipigi simu inakaa hata months after nimeongea about the same. So atuongee hata for 1-2 months.
Wow.
But nimelearn kuishi na hiyo.
Wow. Nyerere, you're not alone. I'll tell you this. Mimi niliacha kupigiwa simu. You're not alone. We are in this together, and I think this is good conversation we are having. But I think one thing is, I know sometimes what wanga wanafanya hivyo. The reason being, silence sometimes. Nilikuwa nasikia ikiitwa the Cold War. Cold War. Chana naye tutapiga yeye Cold War. But the thing is, Nyerere, you've opened up a conversation, and just the fact that now your Cold War is a manifestation of they understand what you say. You took a stand, right? You took a stand. But I want also to us to face also, why did you have to tell them from their standpoint? Why do you think you understand their standpoint? Because that could be the place you need to also engage with. Why did you take their place?
Yeah, I mean, I wanted to understand like why they had to put me in such a position.
But you see, the thing is, you are taking their stand, and if you take their stand, philosophically speaking, they disappear. So I'm telling you from a social work place, like, because even social workers, we do that. We assume that we know the other, and it comes from this colonial place. So first of all, we want also to engage with that. Like, why did I have to take from their standpoint? But what is their standpoint? Right? Because we may be assuming their standpoint, but actually that's not their standpoint. And you speak of their standpoint, and they're like, you're misquoting me.
Oh yeah, true.
Is that making sense? So the key to any open conversation, first of all, I think to colonize yourself, right? Get to know that yes, they are your parents. The fact that you're already here is, don't assume that they're just there the way you left them. They moved on.
Oh yeah.
Is it making sense?
Yeah.
They moved on. And so when we start this conversation, let's not just assume that, oh, they're just there the way we used to, whatever, so I can tell them this way. You'll have made the first whatever step, whatever. But anyway, it's expected, especially when you're having this conversation. But always ask yourself, who am I, first of all, to take their stand? Because because it's a way of empathy, right? You're trying to empathize with them, to imagine them.
Oh yeah.
Right? But actually that imagination is not who they are. They may be different and they change. They evolve over time. So when you came here, they moved on. First of all, understand that. But also have a conversation that is open-minded. Right? Open-minded in the sense that, first of all, don't expect them to change in a day. They've lived that context. And so for that context and way of thinking to change, it takes time. And part of that is like mourning. So when you lost, there's something we call loss. So wanaweza kuwa muongeleshani, but actually it's not personal at all. It could be that they can't believe you told them that. But also the fear to change, to start now thinking of you differently.
Oh yeah.
Is it making sense?
Yeah, it does.
But at the same time, you also have to take a stand. So don't fear taking a stand that watakufungia simu. Part and parcel of growth is that unakuta your bashment group, unasema no, this is not right. I'm old, so I don't know even what is bashment group. I'm just saying it literally.
Yeah.
So unakuta sasa whatever, but part of that is they are mourning your loss, because huu mtu tulikuwa tunamjua, sasa hata amejua kutuongelesha, to talk back. But that talk back is necessary for your growth.
Oh yeah, true.
But it's also another growth for them. Remember vile nilikuwa nakwambia, we can bring them here now, so that they can. And part of that bringing them here, in and of itself, is a loss. It's a form of grief they are going through, that I can't believe this is Nyerere. But they know that was a necessary conversation.
Yeah.
So don't feel like block. No. Maneno iliingia. Na pati ya kuonyesha kwa maneno iliingia niyo hawataki kuongelesha sana.
Yeah.
But also it's also a necessary whatever so that you can create this, have this, this conversation. It should be a healthy conversation. But also I also want to think that maybe how we start this conversation should sometimes be human. Kuna venye tunaweza rukia hii maneno alafu tunajenga. So also understand them from their own standpoint, their own context, right? So the kind of words we use also, let's engage with them with an open mind. And I'll tell you this, what I found very interesting, that is you can pose a question or a comment, let them talk, listen to what they are saying, and use what they are saying now to engage with them more.
Yeah.
So that tunaonyesha hivi unasema hivi ndivyo inani affect. I'm being affected this way in terms of my mental health. Oh, but what is mental health? Kwani unasema niambia unatembea huko bila kufa sasa kama unapata makaratasi sio kupata makaratasi. That's how they speak about mental health, right? No, unless actually mental health is this whatever, right? So maybe next time you can tell them when I start I didn't it wasn't this way of being whatever to you. I just wanted us to have a conversation. Nataka tuongee.
Yeah.
Manake hata hii kuninyamazia by the way inani affect. It affects me. Just yeah. I hope I was able to answer your question.
Yeah, you did. Na tumeongea about mental health.
Yeah.
I think tutapanga another session.
Maybe.
Tutakuwa na full session ya kuongea about mental health.
Yes.
Lakini naweza mwambia story moja. Siku fulani nilikuwa na feel low kabisa, yani nilikuwa kwa bed. I had a video call with my mom. Namwambia nimeshindwa kabisa kutoka bed. Nimejaribu, yani hiyo time nilikuwa natafuta kazi kabisa. So unaelewa hiyo stress.
Yes.
Ananiambia wacha uzembe, toka kwa bed. Namwambia mom, but hakuelewa. So naelewa like the way hizo misconceptions bado ziko about mental health, wase bado hawaelewi like what depression is.
Yes.
And na hizo conditions zingine.
So,
I think that's a topic yenye tuta have.
Yes. I think that would be a good one.
Yeah, thanks for the insights on the same.
Yeah.
Alafu there is some point atuku cover during when tulikuwa tuna record, but nilikuwa nayo in mind. I think you are the right person kukuuliza cause uko married. So sometimes kama uko married, so the family yenye maybe your family ama the girl's family naweza kuwa inaona maybe this is an extra source of income. So alafu but then nyinyi already mshakuwa na your responsibilities. Ina affect aje your relationships?
Actually, that's a very good question. Nyerere wewe.
Karibuni hao vijana wanaenda kutafuta wasichana.
Ni mzuri, najua. Nisikia ukisema uko na kashori. Wanaitwa shori. Kuna kashori unapelekanga mahali. Of course au kusema directly, lakini kusema ikiwa niko na kashori nipeleke, my assumption is niko na kashori mahali. Anyways, here's the thing, hii kitu inaweza affect familia. Mambo ya extended family ikianza kukuja kuwa sasa wanakuona kama we ni extension of income na bado uko married na mke wako pia anaona wewe ndiye wa kuangaliwa, right? Here's the thing, I'll tell you this, nyumba ni yako baba, nyumba ni yako. Ile kitu unaweza fanya ni first of all kile mimi najua, ikiwa unataka kusaidia familia, usiende kusaidia familia kutoa tu hivi unaenda kusaidia familia. lazima familia ile extended. Pia inakuwa ni discussion, ukae chini na bibi. Unielewa? Kitu ingine ni kwamba saa zingine familia extended wanaweza kukujia sana, especially ikiwa wewe ndiye kuangaliwa na both mke wako na nini. Wanaweza kukujia sana ati wewe unadanganywa, sijui nini, bibi yako sijui nini. But the question is, uko na watoto wako bana na familia yako, na unatakiwa kusimama na familia yako, right? Lakini pale sana ni akina madhi. Madhi ndio wanga, especially sisi vijana. Madhi ndio wanga anakuja moto. Anakuambia wewe tuma hii. Sasa inakuwa ni mvutano kati ya either mtumie ama unini. Lakini pangu kama sasa niko na watu hii. Nyerere. Tuseme uko na shilingi 3. Na uko na bill za kulipa. Na uko na watu hii. Madhi amekwambia nitumie kitu. Na unajua katika hii mwezi hizo shilingi 3 ndizo zitakita for all that. Na uko hapa diaspora, utatuma? Some things wanga nini to sasa utumi, alafu uishi kwa barabara. Sasa ukiishi kwa barabara atapata kesho. Those are the arguments we need to have with Mapero. Unawaambia mimi niko na shilingi 3. Nikikutumia hii shilingi 3 nitakuwa kwa barabara kesho. Sasa unataka nikutumie kwa hii shilingi 3 niende kwa barabara, au kwa barabara na sina kazi, utatumiwa na nani kesho? You see, like make it so real to them. Aone ukweli, right? So I think that one, see, bado hata si mambo ya familia, bado hata wewe hata iko utamare. I think ni create that reality. Unamwambia mimi niko na shilingi 3 mbele na nyuma, nikikupatia shilingi 3 nitakuwa kwa barabara na sitakuwa na chakula. Unataka tufanye namna gani?
True.
Unajua unamuinvolve katika hiyo you know, that kind of thinking. Unamweka into that spot you are in. Ili akwambie vile anataka hizo shilingi 3 zifanye. Ama anataka umpatie shilingi 1 alafu na wewe usikule. Ukikufa kesho nani ndiye atampatia hizo shilingi 3? So it's just making it so real to them. I think also, I think one thing I'll tell you, Nyerere, is this, and my friends, the rest of my friends, is I think another thing tumekuwa tukifanyia watu mambo. So let's change the dialogue now. Badala ya kufanyia watu mambo, waweke kwa viatu, wafikirie. So badala ya kuwa unawafikiria, acha wao hata wao waingie kwa nini, waanze kufikiria kile unafikiria. It has space also, because they're also human beings. I'm a human being, they're also human beings. They're not just objects. By the way, in philosophy, I would call that humanizing our way of living. Manake, we can't just continue just sending money. It also objectifies them. Charity is very dangerous. It leads to dependency. So you also want to make sure that you also participate, to start thinking differently. Within a particular context. Again, I repeat, charity is colonial. Mimi wanga nawaambia, charity wanga inafanya mtu asifikirie. You don't think outside the box, because unajua Nyerere atanitumia. Right? Kama vile ule jamaa Hillary alikuwa ametuma pesa kwa boy fulani aanzishe biashara.
Anthony.
Hawa ni Anthony. For me, unless mtu akuja niambie niko na project fulani, Nyaga ni boost. Hiyo hata siku boost, nitaanza kumwambia what do you bring into that? Nini ndio umeanzia tayari? Na nataka unionyeshe. The other day nitasema ni nani? Jamaa fulani alinitumia nini, akaniambia naje si unitumie to ili kuna biashara fulani hapa na nataka kuanzia biashara ya nini? I think electrical shop. Mimi na nini zangu nikamtumia. After nilianza kumtumia nusu. Nimse napenda, lakini jamaa very close kwangu. Nimegrow na yeye. So nikamtumia kiasi kidogo. The second installment nikamwambia ni aje baba, unitumie picha ya hiyo shop na zile vitu umeweka tayari. Jamaa hakuna. Nikamwambia hapana, wewe wacha zako wewe. So I think what we need to do is not to help venye mzungu kuja na patiana tu pesa hivi, but also to make them accountable.
Oh yeah.
Accountability is so important. Now when you talk about accountability, hapo ndipo kitalibukiana. Unaweza aje kuniambia ni account? You know that, right? You can send, but the moment you talk account for what you're doing right now, hapo ndipo vita itaanzia.
Yeah.
Why? Because they don't want to move that inch. They want you to be primary kutuma. But tunataka kuwafanya wa stand on their feet, but they're not ready for that. Wao wanafikiria venye utatuma. Unaelewa? Manake look at it this way, Nyerere. Nikitumia msee nyumbani aweze kuutilize hiyo do, ataweza kusaidia family member mwingine na mwingine, and that would be something that I will not now be receiving calls from them. So it has stopped. It a cut that. It will be like a cutout, right? Atasaidia mwingine kwa kumwajiri, atasaidia mwingine kwa this and that. Nini? So anaweza kuwa ndio pesa ambayo unaweza cut out that cycle of poverty.
Yeah.
But not so many people are ready to account. No, ukiwaambia tu account unaanza kusema wewe umeanza kwenda against the culture, wewe. So I think that's whatever, but also it's about having those difficult conversations anyways.
Yeah,
those difficult conversations. So anyway, you don't expect it to be whatever. There's a lot of back and forth. It's an encounter. It's an encounter of breaking that mask, that Fanonian mask. So that you can open the eyes, and then you can sing all of us. I can see clearly now. you know that song, right? The song, yeah. I can see clearly now. The sun, whatever it is, right?
Sure, Hillary anajua.
Yes, Hillary anajua. Anaonekana vanyana. Anyway, that's how it is. But to tell the truth, hata kuopen up, ukishaanza kujijua na uwe confident kuanga una voice out, a lot of people are not going to take it easy. They'll be like, mtu ameanza mea pembe.
Yeah.
But the thing is, don't blame them. It's just part of a journey that you started. Part of the repercussion is kuzimiwa simu. But just remember, if you are able to overcome that, umesha draw a particular line, now I may understand.
Yeah.
It may take even long. Not for close to one year, sasa. But it was necessary. There was a necessity to draw that line, so that when we meet, they don't just and at that time, at least, even when I tell them account for what I've helped, they can account.
Yeah.
So that I'm not just sikupatiana. We are having a conversation about an accountable conversation, transparent conversation. I'm not siku feature. But always remember, hata wao hawezi kukuelezea why they're in that position, why they're behaving like that, why wamekuzimia simu, they can't explain. So don't carry that. Just tell yourself the conversation has started. And that's the best thing about it all, right? But the thing is, their family, hakuna mahali wataenda, they will still come back to you. They'll still come back to you. But they'll come again to test the grounds again. Still maintain the ground. Kuna mtu aliniambia, you know, unaweza train watu venye watakutreat. Yeah. So as train people on how to treat you. And this one would have started a long time wakati tulikuwa watoi. Lakini better late than never, right? better late than never. So we've started the conversation, and I think the thing is, I'm just so excited that you found that ground to say, talk and discuss.
Yeah,
acha ni interrupt Nyerere kidogo. Umesema a couple of times about how conversations should begin at an earlier age. So nilikuwa nataka nikuulize tu kwamba, like, how does that look like from, let's say, mtu ambaye yuko around 18, 17, or even younger, like how conversation about Mimi and family and how we meant to move forward, whilst also kuona my side of life and how I want to live it. How does that look like for somebody who is young?
I will tell you this. I will not give it even a number. I'm so anti-number, so I'll tell you this. This conversation actually can start even before you're born. Wakati mimi niko kwa tumbo ya mama yangu, you can start having this conversation. If you don't know, it's a psychic conversation so that she prepares me to a world that is naughty. Okay? But we never have local conversation with our children. Right? Kuna hii conversation, there's this mysterious aspect of life, especially in African society, that mtoi nini ndiye anajua. And I think that's where you're coming from. Mtoi nini ndiye anajua, ataniambia nini? Hakuna kitu anajua. Mimi ndiye nitamuelezea venye atagrow. Hakuna kitu anajua, so ananihitaji, manake I'm the infrastructure ya kukua, right?
Yeah.
You know, children, let me tell you, I'll tell you, children are geniuses. I'll tell you, if you see, I've told you we exist others. So bado tuko kwa utoto yetu, hatutawahi kutoka kwa hiyo utoto. Tunaishi watu wengine, hatutawahi kutoka hiyo utoto. And this is a thing. We think that we are grown, but actually ni mwili imekuwa kubwa, lakini psychically we are still children. That's why I can't give a number.
Yeah.
You get the point?
Yeah.
So here's the thing. If you realize in this society, katoika kiwa kadogo, mzazi ashaanza kuangalia. Ashaanza kuobserve mtoi nini ndiye anafanya, na kuanza even before kasema ameshaanza kujua mtoi ni musician. Akianza kushika manoti hivi amejikunja huyu atakuwa nini wa matatu, huyu atahangera, right?
Yeah.
You get the point. I'm just putting this as a joke, but I'm just trying to put this aspect. So in our African culture, we have this aspect of mtoi ana kitu ya kunyambia. Mimi ndiye ni kama clean slate.
Yeah.
Right? Mimi ndiye nitaweka ideas kwa kichwa yake, na lazima afuate hizo ideas, na akienda against hizo ideas, huyo amepotea. But actually, have you ever thought of kupotea kama another essence of self-growth, development? And that whatever we do, we are imprisoning these children. We are putting them into prisons. Have you ever thought about that? So, mimi nitakwambia hivi. As wazazi, hata kabla mtoto aanze kusema anza kuangalia vile anafanya, and start gauging where huyu mtoto anaweza kuwa anaelekea. Of course that will change over time, but just be keen and be observant. Watu huyu wako observant, sisi hatukuangi observant na watu wetu. So kuwa observant na mtoi kile anafanya, and I'm telling you this because I can tell kunini watoi na nini. If you get one, that's okay, but if you don't, that's okay still. It's not still lazima uzae information. I'm not trying to push things lazima uzae ama nini. No. But what I'm saying is, if you have kids, pay attention to mannerism, now these things wanafanya, because that's their own definition. It's their genius definition. But what we do is we short circuit that, and we start imprinting ourselves on our children, so that instead of having our children, what our children end up being is us. So unapata kanyaka kengine amegrow. Haya tukue na mtoi mwingine ame-stand out. And I think this is part of the conversation I'm talking about, and that's why you see our parents grieving the moment we start putting a stand on a particular issue, right? So manake hata wao huwezi wa blame, hata wao walipitia hiyo. It's generational, right? So mtoi akiwa mtoi, to tell you the truth, ukinikuta, okay, I'll tell you this, nikiwa mtoi, nikiwa around, nilikuwa nimemaliza, I think, Kole, nilifanya business administration. Kumaliza Kole, siku moja nilikuwa nimekaa chini. Our last born alikuwa age kama around 5 years. Okay? Sasa mother alikuwa ameenda church. Sasa alipokuja hiyo Sunday, akanikuta nimeongea nimeongea. Sasa alipoingia kwa hawa na njia, nani huo mnaongea na yeye? Nikamwambia si ni bro yangu. Bro alikuwa 5 years. Akaniambia naongea na bro yako kama mtu mzima. So what I'm saying is, have this conversation. Yeah. Don't assume mtoi. In fact, to let you know, unaweza hata soma kwa mtoi. Again, I've told you, believe we are still in our infant. We were never allowed to be adults. We've never gone through child development, most of us. You know that. When you tumegrow uko nyumbani, we don't know what is child development. Mtu unakanga ukiwa kwa mashati kwenda kunili kuplak coffee na tea ili utengeneze do. Lakini hapa mtoi upitia child development na inaangaliwa venye ina, but for us no. So majority of us kuna section of life tuliruka. Hatukuachiliwa tu watoi. Napata kuachiliwa kwa watoi ndio kufanya hizo mistakes. Allowing a child to make those mistakes, yeah, and learn from those mistakes. But for us, kuna mtu alifanya mistakes, yeye anatumiwa sasa kunini. But think of those mistakes in current times. It don't make sense. So achilia mtu yeye make mistakes. It's through those mistakes unaanza you know the direction this mtu yeye anapitia, the direction anataka kunini. Plus when utakaa na yeye sasa umuelezee hizi mistakes zinatoka wapi. Then at that moment you can now start having those conversations. It's not an easy whatever, especially for us people coming from the continent. It's easily said, but I can tell you it's a bit of a difficult responsibility. But then what would be parenthood if it's not that difficult?
Yeah. And, right? Yeah. And still on children, I think as we continue having these discussions, pia sisi as the current generation, when you tunaenda to raise the next generation.
What do you mean to raise next generation?
Oh, I mean tunaenda kuwa na watoto, so our watoto tutakuwa nao. So hapa itabidi nimekuwa very intentional with my words.
Yeah, because you see the thing is, another thing we have is ownership. Our toy. Let it be. Watch them toy fly.
Yeah.
Don't own. And that's another culture we have back home. Own mtoi. Alafu namwambia, you know, nilikufanyia hivi, so wewe utanifanyia hivi. You know, badala ya kuachilia mtoi na spirit yake iflow, tunamfunga. Anakuwa in a cultural prison. So that's the reason why I'm following up that.
Yeah,
because it comes from a place of ownership.
Yeah, I think we mentioned like what I was about to mention, like kuambia watoto like you lazima unifanyie hivi, nimekufanyia hivi, kuwapea tu the space na kuambia unajifanyia wewe mwenyewe, do things as you wish because zinakusaidia wewe. I think inaweka in a place penye wanaweza make their own decisions, alafu wanaweza kuwa responsible for themselves. Yeah, I think
kidogo hebu niulize sasa, because most of the times as kids they spend most of the times kwenye shule, and somebody called it the public indoctrination camp.
The prison actually.
Yeah.
The form of colonial prison. because of even curriculum itself, you can tell it's colonial. So anyway, I'm just interjecting that. Just keep going.
So like where kama mzazi, like how do you I'm trying to find the word for it, but mtoto ana spend most of his time shuleni, unaona, na huko shule unasema watoto wanafaa waachwe fly, but most of the times ukiwa shule there's usually no room for mistakes, unaona.
Yes.
Unaona?
That's the danger of it.
They expect kids to be unilateral, wana expect kids wakuwe a certain way,
like military.
Vile umesema kuna vile like ni production, kuna product wana expect at the end of your system,
mass production.
Ndio maana wanaita yenyewe 844 system, lakini inatolewa kuna mtu tuna expect at the end huko. So wewe kama mzazi,
yes,
like how do you ukiacha mtoto hivyo venye msema umwache ya fly, bado kuna watu on the other side ambao hawamwachi ya fly because ako kwenye system. Unaona, sasa wewe kama mzazi unaweza semaje, unawezaje kuwa like a safe landing space, ama unaweza guide aje, si kumforce.
I like the word guide rather than safe landing, because I'll never be the safe landing. Remember, I'm also colonized.
But unawezaje guide
kusaidia mtoi kama huyo?
Kusaidia mtoto kama watoto kama hao, because ni wengi pia.
Yes.
But let's say ulikataa mambo ya ownership, but mtoto wako.
Again achilia mtoi ya fly, but fly si kusema ati asikuje nyumbani. Mtoi bado atarudi nyumbani. You have a responsibility, isn't it? But the thing here is, and you've said it very well. In fact, you've used those terms, that the classroom or the school system, one is a prison, it's an industrial complex, right? And there's so much literature about that, right? But the thing we have is parenthood. Mwenyewe ule ana parent alipitia the same system. So hata yeye ametrainiwa, alilokiwa up. Sasa juu ya kuwa amekuwa locked up, aka-internalize, and they can't believe living with somebody who is not also locked up. So being locked up becomes the identity of the African body. So whether aende huko shule ama arudi nyumbani, the scenario is the same. But we have to find a way to interrupt that. So part of parenting is to interrupt that system. And part of interruption is to ground employee. While we allow them to fly, they also need to be grounded somewhere. Is that making sense? Employee akifly, it's also good in a open up. Like we're transnational in terms of thinking, of imagining who they are, right? But also they have to be at a place where humana sana anaweza be whatever. But that grounding is not about tethering. No tethering. Ila tunafunga ng'ombe anaenda mpaka whatever. It has to be allowed to fly, but also to decide whether to come back or not to come back. That's where the ownership comes into being, right? But anyway, that's just the philosophical bigger picture. But here's the thing. I think part of parenthood, African parenthood, was, because right now it's very was to interrupt the officialdom of the Western education. An example is what I gave you right from the beginning. Chocho alikuwa na interrupt. Alikuwa ananifundisha CRE, but from a context that is, that is grounded African, African cultures and values, right? So huyo alikuwa ananisaidia kuinterrupt. So what we have today, today we have a nuclear family. Mama na baba wanaenda kazi, wakirudi wamechoka, mtoi ako kwa TV, mtoi akitoka kwa TV anaenda kwa shule. Is there any interruption? Si ni continuation to your Western education. So I think what needs to be done at the moment, I think, like I said here before, is for parents wakuwe na discussion na watoi. It doesn't matter mtu kwa which age. Start that open conversation. Mimi ukinikuta na watoi wangu, utaanza kushindwa kama ni wazimu ilitoka ama ni nini. And I'm saying that from a perspective outside of who I am right now. I had to be open to that. So ukinikuta na mtoi wangu kama huyu ako 12, mwingine ako 6, mwingine ako 5, right? Wanga tunakaa chini kuongea. First in our open. Sasa kuna mimi mke wangu hata mke wangu ni professor. So we always have time. I know we are busy. But the lucky thing is for me shule yangu wanga inaisha April. So from April to September I have time na watu, right? But aside from that, I teach few courses, 2 courses. So 2 courses, it will take me maybe 1 week. The rest of the days, niko na watu. So I have the privilege to have that. But I'm also thinking about ule anafanya kazi for 6 days, Sunday ndio tu anapatikana. You see, even corporation, it may make it very hard to have conversation with our children. So again, watu wetu bado wanarudishwa ile age ya kwa watu. And that process goes on. So unakuta watoi mtu ni mzima lakini ndani bado anapitia utoi, anaendesha ile movara, unajua ile nini au nini. So I think what needs to be done is to have a conversation. Is there time? I wouldn't give a quantitative time when to have this conversation, but being an observant parent, utaona mtoi na ujue huyu mtoi ana have conversation na mimi. Mtoi anaweza kukuletea kitu, anakuonyesha kapicha kanini amedraw au na assume. And actually mtoi anakuambia huyu ni mimi, lakini hutaki kumwangalia. And hiyo hapo ndipo departure inakujia. So why am I saying this? Because parenthood is very wide so far. Ni wazungu tu wanaweza pata time, manake corporation ni wazungu. Inawallow time, inawapatia time ya kuna watu wao. Sisi wa Afrika, especially immigrant, tunakuja hapa, kazi ni kazi, wera ni wera, right? UDA. Niwe na una time ya watu hii. Is it making sense?
Yeah.
So inatufunga tena. So unapata generation bado inaendelea imefungwa kwa prison ya culture. That's the reason why nakwambia as much as mapero wetu wanatupeleka through this whatever, but don't blame them. They also went through the same. We also going through the same. But I think for us, it has come to that 7th generation that we need to cut out. And have this open, clear, and precise conversation. Sometimes they will not be tenable, but they are necessary. But again, parenting has to change. So that it's a form of parenting that is African-centered and that interrupts the formality of the Western school. And how do they do that? It could be as simple as chakula ile unapatia mtoi. It could be as simple as ile language umeanzisha kuongelesha mtoi wako. It could be as simple as, because language helps them to imagine things. It could be as simple as values. Kama mtoi wangu, as much as me, by the way, mke wangu si Mwafrika, by the way, na si Mkenya, ni mtu mwingine. So as much as tunaongea na mtoi wangu, namwambia ile mambo nilipitia, tunamwambia working hard ni hivi. But ikiwa hii si area yako ni sawa sawa, wewe niambie area yako ni gani, tujue venye tutaendelea. Tunakuwa na hiyo conversation, open conversation. Ajuzi alikuwa ananiambia niko na shida whatever, to have conversation. Na mtoi akikuja mbele yako anakupatia kitu hivi, wengine ametoka shule anakwambia nilitoi kitu. Anza kumuonyesha hii kitu venye iko connected na yeye alivyo. So don't lose those whatever, those points through which you can interrupt the formality of the prison that is education. Yeah.
Nilikuwa
nasoma
nasoma
huko nawapitia mpaka ndoma na ngwashi. Yeah, physically it looks like ni ndoma na ngwashi kwa tumbo. But actually it's a form of decolonization.
Yeah.
Nilikuwa nasoma like an article about black tax to prepare for the episode. Na ilisema kwamba was solely based on the US, but inaweza kuwa kind of reflective of CCP because it was about black Americans, some African Americans. Kwamba, in spite of the fact that they earn more or close to the same as some of their white counterparts, wako na 37% wako zero or negative net worth.
Yeah.
Compared to 15% of other races, some of their white counterparts. So tunaweza aje, because it's mostly based on dependency because it was about black tax. Sasa enyewe tunataka kusaidia people sasa hivi, but pia inaweza kuwa like a cycle, tunasaidia but at grow generationally vile nilikuwa nasema. So tunawezaje kusaidia sasa hivi, alafu pia tukuwe na hiyo like generational wealth as Africans, as Kenyans, as black people.
First of all, you have to redefine what wealth is.
Sio msemaje, mostly ilikuwa
in African ways. What is wealth?
Wealth. Wealth inaweza kuwa vitu vingi, unaona, but inaweza kuwa like social wealth, ndio. Inaweza kuwa wealth in terms of knowledge. Inaweza kuwa wealth in terms of financial wealth, properties, etc. But hii article ilikuwa naangalia mostly